What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, the Peacemaker, how are you today?
They have a show on HBO starring John Cena, and they call him Peacemaker. They say it's Peacemaker, and I've heard people say it's a good show. Melanoma son, um, Bilbo, says that it's a very entertaining. Oh, Papa, I like Peacemaker. That's what he says to me. I'm the new Peacemaker. Anybody who calls anybody, I have made peace that nobody thought was possible. And you know how I feel about, Tough BB. He earned the nickname back, Tough. I told him at one point he was, after the first 5,000 people he killed, I said, okay, you're tough. And then he said, watch this. And then he took out another 55K. So he is tough. And I brought peace. I brought peace because I wasn't going to bring peace. I was going to just let them fight it out. But then he blew up some people in Qbert, which is a very important country in the Middle East, and they gave me
Yes.
a jet. They gave me a plane for $400 million. And I said, when somebody, there's a phrase, I think, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Hmm.
Well, I have a phrase called, you don't blow up my gift Arabs. And Qbert gave me a big, beautiful plane. And then BB went too far. And I basically told BB, the kids were bad. The starvation was bad. The violence was bad. But you almost cost me a plane, you son of a bitch. And if you do that again, US will not back Israel at all. So I took a tough stand because I like my plane.
He almost took out Arab Force One.
He almost did. He almost did. And but we saved it. We saved the plane. We might have saved some lives. I really don't care, but we saved the plane.
So, I mean, if you can make Russia and Ukraine at peace, they should make a new award just in your name, like the
The
Trump
Trump
Award.
the Trump Peace Prize,
Yeah.
and it'll be more prestigious. We'll turn the Nobel Peace Prize into like the Golden Globes of peace, and I'll be the Oscars, the Academy Awards of peace. And everybody say, "Oh, the Golden Globe, the Nobel Peace Prize. That's nice. That's a nice prize. Good for you. Very, very worthy prize." And then people say, "But nobody remembers who won the Nobel Peace Prize. Everybody remembers who won the Trump Prize for peace with strength."
Is it wait, is the Trump Peace Prize or the Trump Prize of Peace for Strength?
It's okay. You have the full title. Okay.
Yes, yes,
We'll
yes,
probably
yes, yes.
shorten it, but it's going to be the Trump Prize for Peace through Strength and Toughness Premium.
Strength and toughness premium. Uh,
But we got the hostages back. We got hostages back. We got a prisoner swap. It was unbelievable. And I just, it's almost like if I had cared 2 years ago, I didn't have a plane yet. But if I had a plane 2 years ago, I could have stopped this. I had the power to stop it a long time ago. Sort of
yeah, you were
interesting.
getting nothing out of it. Now you're getting a plane out of it, so it's all worth it.
That's the thing they don't tell you about peace. When you get a $400 million plane, you really want peace. Who the hell wants peace for nothing?
I agree. Just
Peace
peace
for
by
nothing is
itself is worthless.
peace for in fact you said it. I don't even know if we have to say anymore. Peace for nothing is a bad deal because a lot of people want peace, and if you're willing to give peace for nothing, all you get is peace.
But imagine you got peace and a
For
plane.
planes. Imagine you got planes, awards, and pussy for peace. Isn't that better than peace for nothing? I mean, in terms of just deal, in terms of deal making, isn't planes, prizes, and pussy? We call it the three P's for peace. I think I might hire the Little Caesars guy to walk around with me at the Trump Award for Peace through Strength and Toughness Premium. I might have him walk around with me going, pizza, pizza. Like instead of pizza, it'll be pizza, pizza. And he'll walk around. I think that would be good branding. And we'll get a sponsorship from Little Caesars. They'll provide catering.
I mean, that's branding. That's just all you, Mr. President.
That people will say, "Oh, it's tasteless to do branding." I can't turn it off. Okay, when you have a mind for business and deals, as I proved, some people might not like it. They might not like it tech stuff. They might say, "No, it should be piece for piece." Well, my deal making got us peace. So maybe a nicer person would have done it the perfect way they want. Oh, can we have peace in a very nice way? Now you can have peace and you'll have it my way, like Burger King.
Now I'm curious. You got this peace deal. I'm sure you've done this already, but you've got the rights to the movie of the peace deal, correct? Like with all the hostages being released back to their families, like you have the rights to everything, right? Are you frozen, Mr. President, or you're just messing
Frozen.
with
I'm
me?
not frozen.
Okay.
You were frozen, you son of a. But you looked frozen on my end. Okay, it says my internet connect. This is what they do. Excuse me, tech stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed. Excuse me. I'm disappointed you haven't talked to the tech stuff people because my internet freezes a lot more than it used to. I think Verizon is probably, Bruce Springsteen had the song "Come On Up for Verizon," and I think "Come On Up for Verizon." So they're left wing. They're left wing.
Yes.
And so they freeze my internet. On this day of all days, they're freezing my internet. Does that seem like a normal thing or does that seem like a deep state problem?
Deep state, 100%.
Okay, so you were saying the rights to the movie. I have the
Yeah.
rights, I have the lefts as well. And most importantly, I have been given complete permission by all of the uh, moms under 50 who were involved in this. All the women whose sons were kidnapped who are under 50. The old moms, I didn't seek their permission through strong bedroom negotiations, but it's we're gonna make a movie. We're gonna make a movie. It's gonna be called The Peacemaker. Parentheses with a hard R.
Now, how did you pull this off?
Well, what I said basically was, and I had Jared Kushner also, who's doing tremendous deals in the Middle East. And if you think I was concerned about money, Jared Kushner, and I don't like this normally because you know how much I think, how well I think of my daughter Ivanka, but Jared Kushner was so worried about the blowing up of Qbert, the country who sold me the plane.
Hmm.
He was so worried about losing his deals because he's made a lot of money under my presidency and through Middle East deals. He actually offered to negotiate Ivanka's, this is true, anal virginity to secure peace.
Wow.
And
Anal, anal for peace.
well, you know what? We call it through her. They used to call it the Hershey Highway. Now we call it the Pathway to Peace. And it was, he didn't have to, fortunately, but I actually almost respected the fact that he was willing to go that far for peace, to protect his wealth and his deals. He was willing to go that far with peace as a side effect of keeping his deals.
That's very impressive and very loyal. Um, Now, I want to get into this whole peace in Gaza, peace in the Middle East. Now, you got all the hostages who are still alive returned to their families. I don't know if you saw some of these reunions on TV. Very emotional, very, very emotional. Made me tear up. Does that make you feel really good, Mr. President?
I don't like tears. It's sort of. I don't really like tears, if we're being honest. I think tears are sort of weak.
So tears are weak.
Tears a week. That's why Johnson and Johnson, remember their shampoo, the baby shampoo, they said no more tears.
Hmm.
I always thought that was the toughest shampoo. They called it baby shampoo, but I thought it was very interesting marketing because they were basically doing the other opposite of baby. They were saying no more tears. The shampoo you I used to as a child. I had a younger sister, no, an older sister. I don't know. She's dead. Either way, I had a sister, and I had a younger brother. And what I would do is I would put him in the shower. And you ever see a Clockwork Orange?
Yes.
They hold the eyes open. I had a contraption where we'd do that, and I'd hold my brother, and I'd pour entire bottles of Johnson and Johnson shampoo in his eyeball,
To
and
prove no tears.
and it was by the 15th ounce of shampoo in it right on his eyeball, he would actually tear up. But I figure, it's unfair to say, I mean, who the hell puts that much shampoo in their eyeball? So I figured they were telling the truth. It was a very tough shampoo, very strong in terms of tears. But I think that, I understand that they're upset, but I think I just don't like crying. It's disturbs me. It's weakness. And I know you're reunited with your family. That's very nice. But I would just simply hug them and shake their hands and go, "Let's go."
When you cry, does that show how weak your eyes are?
Well, you know what they say? They say sweat is weakness leaving the body.
I didn't I had never heard that quote.
Pain, excuse me, it's pain. I meant pain. Pain.
Okay.
You've had to have heard that one. Pain is weakness leaving the body.
Yes, I never heard sweat though.
Okay. No, no, I didn't. It was, excuse me. It was the translation from the original Transylvanian phrase that my wife Melatonin used, which is in her language, it's cum is just bank deposits leaving the body. So it sort of lost a little bit in translation. But no, I think tears are, when you cry, you lose strength. You lose strength. That's strength coming out. And you don't want that. You don't want that.
The tears of strength leaving the body.
That's right.
Hmm. I learn so much from you, Mr. President, every single day.
That's why they elected me for 3 terms. I got one stolen, but they gave me 3 terms. Thank you.
Um, I wanted to ask you also during this whole thing, the Prime Minister of Israel was there, and in this whole thing, with this whole celebration, you just turned to him and recommended that Bibi be pardoned for all his crimes. Do you think that was like the right spot? That was good timing?
I do. Well, I thought, well, what better time would there be? You know, what better time would there be? See, this is a problem with the way we've done politics. People would say this is not the proper time. Well, Bibi wants a pardon. Okay, Bibi is. I can just be truthful here because we love Bibi. He's tough.
Yeah.
He's an insane, evil, corrupt piece of shit.
Okay.
Very corrupt, very bloodthirsty. Okay, that guy would drink. If you were walking down a supermarket and there was a new soda called Gaza Blood, he would drink. He would shotgun it. And on top of that, he's very corrupt. He was trying to change. He was basically trying to do what I've been able to do. Everybody's very jealous in terms of how I've gotten the Supreme Court and the Senate to do what I want, and he wants that, and he can't get it done because he's tough, baby, but I'm tougher, Donald. And so I thought, well, let me do a favor for him. I'll use my influence. I use my brand, and at a time when everybody's happy, what did I say? Don't do peace for nothing. When you release hostages, when you get hostages back, you want something in return. And I'm not
Right.
talking about Palestinians or Hamas. I'm talking about if you help people, they should still pay you, even if you're their president. So this would be the time to ask for a pardon. Say, remember how I freed everybody and ended the war? How about we give me a pardon?
God, just everybody's celebrating. Everybody's on a real high and maybe feeling vulnerable. So you hit them up in that moment.
That's what you do. That's what you do. Like in other words, it was an old trick I used to use when I had raw dogged prostitutes against their will. When they were crying and realizing that they were pregnant, I would say, "Well, just sign this NDA and I'll take care of everything."
Does that come from the famous book of diplomacy?
It's not a famous. That's called Fred Trump's Guide to Dealing with Whores, which was a best-selling book in the real estate world in the 1970s.
My apologies, I had the wrong book.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, it was big in the 70s. It wasn't like The Art of the Deal, like sort of classics that I wrote, but it was a lot of serial sexual assaulters and real estate developers were big fans of that book.
I'm also wondering on the branding aspect of this whole thing. Now, I don't know
Sure.
if you remember in the 90s when after the Iraq War was done, a really big slogan was "Peace in the Middle East." Remember that?
Uh, I do remember that.
Have you branded that yet? Peace in the Middle East, and maybe it could be on the side of MAGA hats.
We're not going to do that. I mean, there's going to be at the Trump Presidential Library in Tampa, there's going to be a very huge Middle East peace section. But no, we are in terms of peace in the Middle East has already been done, and it was also false. We didn't have peace. We thought we were getting peace, but we didn't get peace. My slogan is it's going to be it's better than hell. We saved Israel.
I love it. Are you going to use Israel's colors or is it going to be USA? Blue and white or red, white, and blue? Of
It's going to be blue and white, but with orange letters above saying Trump presents.
course, of course. Have you and Bibi been speaking regularly and are close now since there's peace now and maybe you could possibly help him out?
Well, we've never. He called me the greatest friend Israel's ever had, which I think is impressive. You know,
Do you think there will be possible BB dojos in Washington, D.C. popping up soon?
honestly, no, because we're still pro-America first. We want American dojos. The martial arts. People don't realize this. The martial arts are very much American. They began in America.
And I don't think that happened that way, but
Uh,
wrestling maybe some sort of
no,
no, I know that's Roman. No, nothing, none of it started. Lacrosse started here.
no. Okay, you obviously don't know. Judo was, of course, started by a group of Jewish immigrants to New York.
And
They formed
Taekwondo started by who?
Taekwondo was started by a group of college guys who wanted to open up a fast casual Thai restaurant chain, and they decided they were getting robbed because they were in a lot of black neighborhoods, and so they started doing defense with their employees, and they called it Taekwondo.
How about karate?
Well, karate is very simple.
Yes.
A guy from Okinawa came to this
Yes.
country and worked with an Italian kid named Daniel LaRusso, and they formed karate.
Well,
That's the most well-known of all the martial arts. And that's a weird one that you'd bring that up.
yeah, it's pretty silly. All right, so I guess all the martial arts has started here. I'm trying to think. Um,
Aikido was my great friend Steven Seagal, of course.
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Tai Chi was started by, okay, there was a person who was a partner at Brooks Brothers, which did suits and ties and other formal wear, and they fired him. Okay, they fired him, and he decided to focus only on ties. Okay, and
Yes.
his name was Rudolph Chi. So he's formed a store called Tai Chi, and much like what happened with Taekwondo, they were robbed a lot. So he formed his own form of defense called Tai Chi, which was sort of a more spiritual meditation practice, but it also helped with defense.
Is it his cousin who started Muay Thai?
No, Muay Thai was a guy, a another Jewish immigrant. His name was Mo, and he had a brother named Guy, and they combined it into Moy.
At least all of it makes sense now to me. Thank you, Mr. President.
Asia's been ripping us off and pretending to have started many martial arts, and it has to stop.
Are you trying to say Bruce Lee, biggest martial arts hack in the world?
Well, it shouldn't surprise you to say, for hear me say that Chuck Norris is the biggest martial artist in world history.
Bruce Lee really lived in his shadow.
I mean, they both respected each other, and I respect both of them, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. But Bruce Lee was too busy being dead to have the total gym or whatever the hell. What did Chuck Norris do? What was the gym equipment he did?
Oh man.
We're gonna
Was,
go
was it
on
the
to Bing.com to find out.
was it the Chuck Norris Total Gym?
Well, we're gonna see total gym. I don't even know why I looked it up. I knew it was. I said total gym. How about
Hmm.
that? And meanwhile, Bruce Lee was total dead. So you tell me who's
Uh,
better.
I guess Chuck Norris is definitely better since he's alive. Well, have a few other questions about this whole situation here. Also, Qatar now, you got a plane, but they have a military base in Idaho. I think you were quoted in 2016 saying that you would never have any foreign country building any kind of base on our soil. Um, what's the change of heart now?
They gave me a plane. That's a big change of heart. And also, Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College, of course, I had to check, that's our great feeder school. That is one of our great institutions in America. And so I talked to the president of Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College, and he said to me, I'm concerned, sir, about the uh, Qataris doing base in our state. And I said, here's the thing, Jethro Jenkins the ninth,
Dean is it Dean Jethro Jenkins tonight?
president of the college, Jethro Jenkins the ninth. And he's named after his older brother, who's also his father. But he said to me he was concerned about Qataris doing jihad in their state of Idaho. And I said to him, President Jenkins the Ninth, these are good people. They gave your president a plane. And so it's called diplomacy, and we want to help them out because they're helping us out so much. So I said, we're going to let them have a base in Idaho. The good news is, if any of your students see any of them wandering off their base, they're allowed to shoot to kill because they're brown in Idaho, which is a crime.
Why don't you maybe start an internship program on the Qatari Air Force Base, and then it's like kind of like you have spies there as well.
Oh, we were thinking about that actually. We were thinking they wanted to recruit. They wanted to join, form sort of a partnership. Like how some schools abroad will have like, oh, we send like our students there for the summer program or for a study abroad. We build a relationship. So no, we're definitely building a relationship with um, Queen's Gambit to have some of the Idaho Militia Christian Bible Tech State College. The fighting Trump AR-15 potatoes. We're gonna have some of them doing mechanical work on the planes, and getting a lot of training in weaponry and in Allahu Akbar and other things.
Question for you. I mean, a man can have many planes, yes?
I mean, some men, obviously, some people
Mm,
can't even afford. Some poor people can't even afford one plane.
right. So if Iran or Iraq offered you a $50 million plane, could they have an Air Force base in Idaho also?
Tech stuff. Clearly, you don't know about the great wealth and how much it costs to have a plane. Queen's Gambit gave me a $400 million
I'm
plane.
sorry,
So
I meant 500 million.
okay, well now you're talking because you'd have if they're willing to go above Queensryche and give me a $500 million plane, that I would actually have to listen to because it says they're serious. It says they're serious. What if I said, okay, Saudi Arabia, thank you for this $1 billion plane. We'd like to build a military base on ground zero for you. I would consider that. Respectfully, of course, with great respect, of course.
So you let the Saudis do that?
I don't know. I mean, they haven't offered me a $1 billion plane yet. I mean, if they want to offer me, $1 billion plane is something that's like from the future. There's no such thing as a $1 billion plane. That would be very exciting.
What do you think $1 billion plane would have?
Probably instead of cup holders, flashlights at every seat. I think you'd have to have sort of, porn star flight attendants. I think you'd have to have 4K movies playing. Um, McDonald's on the plane, so it's fresh McDonald's, not
Right.
like a grab and go, but like they actually make your order on the plane.
Multiple restaurants would have to be just there on the plane.
I could see going a McDonald's and a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. And you make them cook on Sunday.
Well, you make them do a lot more than cook if you get some,
Billion dollar plane.
if they have an attractive worker, a female worker, you can make them do it. It's called $1 billion plane law.
I didn't know about $1 billion plane law.
Well, of course you didn't, but I do. I know it very strongly.
You also said, Mr. President, about this peace agreement. Maybe you can explain this because you allegedly said as a joke, but I don't know. Um, I won't get into heaven after the peace agreement.
I make jokes. It's called being humble, but I know I'm going to get to heaven very strongly.
No, I think you're gonna get to heaven too. I agree. But I mean, you and Sir Jeffrey Epstein and Fred Trump and all your other friends,
Roy Den Hollander,
Roy and Hollander, of course.
definitely going to be up there.
What'd you say?
He's definitely going to be up there. He might be the first one in.
He'll be welcoming you for sure.
Is shaking my hand while murdering a woman with the other hand, as the Lord likes in heaven.
Just choking her out with the other hand.
Because he'll have that heaven strength. Some people talk about old man strength. He'll have heaven strength, which is even better than old man strength.
I'd never heard of heaven strength.
Well, if you know about old man strength, right?
Yes, I
You've
know
heard it.
about all men
Well,
strength.
imagine how much stronger you get when you die. If old man strength exists, then dead strength is even bigger, and then heaven strength is the next level after dead strength.
That sounds crazy.
Dead strength sounds like if I did it like it was a metal band.
It does sound like a heavy metal rock band for sure. Dead strength.
And I know this stupid microphone doesn't pick it up when I do strong music.
Yeah, you heard that one though. That we heard. If you get any crazier, I don't think it will pick it up. Um, so making a joke about that. Wanted to ask you. Today is Columbus Day, or other people are calling it
Great American.
Indigenous Peoples Day. Now, on my phone, it comes up as a few different things. Comes up as both. Now, did you change it back to Columbus Day? You did.
It is Columbus Day. It will always be Columbus Day. He was very important to our Italian American community. Columbus Day represents more than just Columbus. It's like an Italian American heritage sort of day where, you can go outside in your wife beater t-shirt and slap your wife around if she's not acting proper, and you can use the hard R. The hard R, like it's a cell, and you eat pasta as well. So you can do those sort of things on Columbus Day. It's a very important day.
There's no way to celebrate the raping of Native Americans.
I don't know that we should celebrate it, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
I'm not saying we should condemn it either.
Okay.
I just think more neutral, more neutral stance on, by the way, he came over here. He didn't, nobody ever said, okay, here we go, Columbus Day. Nobody ever said,
They were teasing him.
well, it wasn't teasing. It was just, he didn't know the customs. He was like the first person from Europe to come to America. So how the hell is he supposed to know?
That
Oh,
you have to court a
this is.
woman.
Oh, I didn't know these natives were doing Me Too. It's 1492. Me Too. I didn't know Me Too existed yet. So it's not his fault. And he was very brave. People thought the world was flat, and he said no, it's not. And he was proven. Well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet if he was right, but he
Jury's
had the
jury's still
he
out.
had, excuse me, he had the courage to try. And hopefully we get the answer one day in terms of whether the Earth is flat or not. But I just think we're applying sort of modern woke standards. If I was alive in 1492, I would have been mad if somebody wasn't raping a native.
I mean, you were mad about that in 1992.
Well, exactly. And then you know what they did? They actually in France, woke France, they recently convicted Gerard Depardieu. You know that actor, Gerard Depardieu,
Yeah. What did they convict him for?
sexual assault. And you know who he played in a movie in 1990? Christopher
Sexual assault.
Columbus in 1492. The movie was called 1492. So
They
they're
set him
coming.
up.
They're coming for the first. They came for the people who played Columbus. The next thing you know, they're going to be arresting Christopher Columbus on his 600th birthday and saying you're going to jail now, and that would be so wrong. And I would offer Christopher Columbus a full pardon right now.
Very nice of you.
So I don't like the you know killing and raping of all the Native women. I don't think it's good.
Right.
Just saying we have to see it. We have to step. There were times where that was a very respectable custom.
Now, not respectable.
Now it's still respectable in some places,
Wanted to ask you, how is Columbus Day celebrated at Mar-a-Lago today?
with great reverence and great fanfare. We play Frank Sinatra Jr. records, to honor American Italian culture. We eat Olive Garden pasta. We have it catered by Olive Garden pasta. Unlimited breadsticks, by the way.
That's awesome.
You know how happy Columbus would have been? Because, raping and murdering a people is very tiring, so you need those carbs.
Exactly. You need to
And
have an
the and
appetite.
the unlimited, it's the unlimited part that's so good because that will allow you, at Diddy's Freak-Offs, they had to bring in nurses to do IV so that they could continue to do their pillaging. We could have done this a more wholesome way with just good old-fashioned breadsticks the way they did in Columbus's time. If they had Olive Garden back then, they could have just been saying, "Well, I'm too tired to murder and rape another village," and then somebody would have come in with Olive Garden catering and been like, "Not so fast, boss. Unlimited breadsticks."
That puts anyone in a good mood.
Good mood and good energy. You get those carbs. They
Even
weren't
the
such a.
victims, they're crying, and then you just go, unlimited breadsticks, and they go, all right, wasn't so bad.
I would think so. I would think so.
Mr. President, before we get to our last story, just want to let all the listeners know if you're enjoying yourself on this episode, join the Patreon, patreon.com/MPGA. We have hundreds of hours of bonus content, special guests, special shows, movie reviews you don't want to miss out. Join as a Perfect 10. We have our live Perfect 10 episode on October 29th, Wednesday night and that is at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So join the Patreon, patreon.com/MPGA. Now back to the show. Mr. President, with all this peace, I'm sure you haven't heard about the war of halftime shows. And now that your former good buddy, Charlie Kirk's company, now Erica Kirk's company, because every widow just appears on podcasts and runs a company 2 weeks after seeing her husband murdered in front of their
We all grieve. We all grieve
alleged
in our different
children.
ways.
Yes. They're having their own halftime show. Did you see the lineup for their halftime show?
Is that a verified lineup?
Um,
I just want to make sure because I saw a lineup today that included Kid Rock and Jason Aldean, and it made
yes, I
sense.
think that is
It was a
there
very
was one out that
sensible
was
lineup.
fake, and then I think this one is the real one here. Let
What's
me.
disappointing to me is when you're talking superstars right now, like Morgan Wallen, we call him the N-word champion. It would have been great to have him headline the Turning Point halftime show.
The lineup is Kid Rock as the headliner here, and then you have Ted Nugent, Travis Tritt, Jason Aldean, Aaron Lewis from Stained, and they wrote from Stained because I don't know if people knew who Aaron
Yeah,
Lewis was.
it's been a while since we heard of Stained.
I know that
That's
song,
I
Mr.
know.
President.
Well,
I see that. I
you
got
were
that
in
one.
college, so you better remember that one.
That's true. John Rich, Lee Greenwood.
Oh,
Isn't Lee
John
Greenwood?
Rich from Big and Rich. Big and Rich. Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Isn't Lee Greenwood the one who sings that really
And
famous
I'm
song?
proud
To
to
be.
be an
All right, you need
American.
him there. You need him there.
That's a
And then
great
there's
lineup.
for Gigato Blow. I
I
swear.
think that's just the drugs that Kid Rock has requested.
Well, um,
That's a great lineup of people. And it's, as the Turning Point people said, it's a night of faith, family, and values. And what better way than Ted Nugent, who sleeps with underage women, Kid Rock, who does porn stars, and Lauren Boebert. Um, who is the other person?
Jason Aldean was in there.
I think he did something questionable, but we love him. But
It's a solid lineup.
it's a great lineup of faith, family, and values for halftime.
I mean, it's the halftime show, and then 6 months later, they get UFC at the White House. I mean, can't ask for more than that.
We're winning so bigly.
Well, Mr. President, happy Columbus Day. Happy peace in the Middle East. You are the peacemaker, and everyone should start calling you that. I think maybe you should get
Well,
like a
there's going to
blinged
be
out
you-
peacemaker chain.
that's not a bad idea. But you know what they're going to do? My people are definitely going to put me into John Cena's outfit from the Peacemaker show. That's going to show up with me with the muscles and
Oh yeah,
you know,
jacked.
yeah, well, even more Jack than John.
Yeah.
If you've never seen us together, but I'm actually a little bigger than him.
I mean, you're much bigger than John Kenya, so
I don't like it because he sounds Latino.
I
Can
know.
you?
I don't like it either.
You put an extra little nya
I
on that
did.
one that made him sound illegal.
I made him spicy. Mr. President, we appreciate you every single week. Join the Patreon, everyone. Patreon.com/MPGA. Hundreds of hours of bonus content. And come join us on a live show later this month. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/MPGA. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, everybody. Hey, it's JL, guys. I'll spare you all the announcements for now, but if you're still listening, Ottawa, New Jersey this Thursday, Stand Up New York, New York City this Saturday, and then next week on the 22nd of October, the Punchline in Philadelphia. My God, if you're still listening and you have people in those areas or you're in those areas, please get tickets. Much appreciated. And leave a 5-star. We got a couple nice 5-star reviews recently for this podcast on iTunes, Apple.
Yay.
So keep doing that. Spotify, Apple, leave a 5-star review while you're listening. Next week if you forgot, but just mark it down. Leave us a review. Thank you. God help us all.